Hello guys, in this video I'm going to show you how to install macOS Ventura on Proxmox. Now Proxmox is a virtualization tool that will allow you to run virtual machines. First, we have to download Proxmox ISO file. So let's open our browser and then search for Proxmox. Now click on the first link over here, which is to proxmox.com, and then click on the download button right here. Now you can see the latest release of Proxmox. We are going to download Proxmox ISO installer. So click on download. This file is about 1 GB, so it should take a while to download. I already have it downloaded, so I'm just going to cancel it. After downloading Proxmox, we also have to download Rufus, which we're going to use to create a bootable drive. So let's open a new tab and then head to rufus.ie. Now scroll down and then click on the latest release of Rufus to download. Now we can close our browser, and here we go. This is Rufus and this is Proxmox. Now let's run Rufus. Now we have to connect a flash drive. At least 4 GB should be okay. In this case I have a 16 gig pen drive which I'm gonna connect, and it should be selected on that device right here. You can see my flash drive. Now we have to select the bootable ISO, which is our Proxmox. So we are going to click on select right here and then locate our download folder. Proxmox selected, open. Okay, and we can start creating a boot drive by clicking on start. Okay, and it should start. Now while this is running, we have to confirm where we want to install Proxmox. So let's head to our search bar and then search for partitions, and then click on create and format hard disk partitions. So right here you will see the list of all the drives in your system, and in my case you can see disk 0, which is where I'm currently running Windows from. Disk 1 contains Manjaro and Windows 10. Disk 2 right here is where we want to be installing Proxmox. You should know that you can't install Proxmox on a partition. Like, we could just partition this drive and then install Proxmox. It works with other operating systems, but this doesn't work the same way with Proxmox. It has to use the entire drive. So if you have any important data in that drive where you want to install Proxmox, then make sure to back up. But if it is a fresh drive, then you have no problem. We can just select the drive while running the installation, and it should wipe it automatically and install Proxmox. So in my case, I'm going to be using disk 2 right here to install Proxmox. So let's close this. Now we can click on close, restart our PC and start the installation. While it is restarting, hold F9 or F12 to open your BIOS setup. This may be different depending on the PC you're using. Now go to BIOS setup. Now we have to locate virtualization and make sure it is turned on. In my case, it is under virtualization support. So I'm going to select virtualization and make sure it is enabled. Now we can close the page. Now let's select our USB flash drive. To boot from the flash drive, hit enter, and we can hit enter to start the installation. Okay, first we have to agree to the terms. So let's agree. Next, we select the drive where we want to install Proxmox. Now in this case, I have 3 drives on my PC. You can see the first one, hard disk, second hard disk, and the third hard disk where we want to install Proxmox. So select it and then click on next. Set your country, your time zone and your keyboard layout, and then next. Enter a password. And then next. Now you can set whatever domain as your host name. In my case, I'm just going to change it a little. You could also use a domain name if you own one. For the IP address and the gateway, it is going to be filled automatically. Now we can click on install after confirming the details here are correct exactly the way we want it. So let's continue. The installation should take about 10 minutes and we should be good. The default username is root, and then hit enter. And then for the password, we're also going to use the same password we used for the installation, and then hit enter. And we are now logged in. Now copy this address. That is what we are going to use to access Proxmox. Now we are going to use another PC to run the installation. You could use any PC at all, or even your mobile phone. You just have to be connected to the same router. Now we can open our browser and then head to the address on our Proxmox server. In my case, it is and then hit enter, and it should load up Proxmox Virtual Environment. Now in some case you may get not secure. Click on advanced and then proceed to the website. Now for the username, enter root, and the password is the password you use for your installation. So here we go. This is Proxmox fully installed. From here we can begin the installation of macOS Ventura on Proxmox. But before we do that, we need some files. So first we need macOS Ventura ISO file. Second, we need a text file which contains the arguments for both Intel and AMD processors. So if you're using an Intel based processor, you're going to run this argument at some point. If you're using an AMD processor, then you would need this. So both commands are needed depending on the CPU you're using. And then lastly, we need Opencore bootloader over here. So we need 3 of these files, and the link to each and every one of these files will be provided in the video description. Now to download Opencore bootloader right here, just search for Opencore KVM on your browser. And then click on the link that heads to the Nick dude on GitHub. And then by the right, you should see releases. Click on the latest release you can find there. And then click on the latest version, Opencore, whatever version it is, and then download. So this is how to download Opencore bootloader. So you should have Opencore bootloader, and you should have macOS Ventura ISO. The link to MediaFire where you can download this is in the video description. The link to download this note text file is also in the video description. After downloading Opencore, you can just right click and then extract. So this is the file right here. Now let's begin the installation. First, we have to upload macOS Ventura ISO and also upload Opencore bootloader ISO as well. So let's head to our Proxmox and then click by the side. You should see our local server right here, which we are going to click on, and then click on ISO images. Now click on upload file. We're going to select file. Now let's head to our download folder and then upload macOS Ventura ISO. Open and then upload. Now let's close this, and then we also have to upload Opencore bootloader as well. Select Opencore, open, and then upload. Let's close this. Then you can see this is Opencore ISO and this is macOS Ventura ISO. Now we have to create a new virtual machine by clicking on create VM up here. Set the VM ID to whatever you want from 100 upward. We're going to need this later. I'm going to set it to 105. And then for the machine name, I'm going to call it macOS Ventura. And then we can go to OS. Set the storage to local, set the ISO image to Opencore bootloader right here. Set the type to other, and then leave the version the way it is. Now we can go to system. Set the graphics card to VMware compatible. Set the machine to Q35. Set the BIOS to OVMF UEFI. Now set the EFI storage to local LVM, and then untick pre-enroll keys. Set the SCSI controller to VetIO SCSI. Now go to disk, set the bus device to Ventura ISO block. Make sure the storage is set to local LVM. Set the disk size. In my case, I'm going to give it 80 gigabytes. And then set the cache to write back unsafe. Now let's go to CPU. I'm going to give this 4 cores. And then set the CPU type to host. Now let's go to memory. Set the memory. This is the RAM. The minimum is 4 gigabytes, so you can set anything more than that. Let's go to network. And then set the network model to VMware VMX-Net 3. Now click on next. Here we just have to confirm everything is in place, and then we can click on finish. So we've created a new virtual machine with the name macOS Ventura up here. Now let's click on it. Now go to hardware and then click on add. We're going to add CD/DVD drive. Click on it. Now select the storage and set to local ISO image. Select macOS Ventura ISO and then click on add. Now click on your Proxmox main server up here and then click on shell by the side. Now we have to edit our configuration file, so type in this command exactly as seen on the screen. Now this is where you enter your VM ID. In my case, it is 105. You can see over here. So let's type that in. .conf. And here we go. This is our configuration file. Now let's hit enter to give space up there. Now head to your download folder, and this is when we need the text file, which you can download from the video description. Now if we open this file, we're going to see arguments for Intel and AMD processors. I am using an Intel processor on where Proxmox is running from, so I'm going to use the command for Intel processor right here. So I'm going to copy it and then head back, paste. Now we have to make few changes, so use your keyboard to navigate down. Under IDE 0, you should see media equal to CD-ROM. So let's remove that, media equal to CD-ROM, and then change it to cache equal to unsafe. IDE 2, the same thing, media equal to CD-ROM. We're going to remove that and replace it with cache equal to unsafe. Now we can use Ctrl O to save and then hit enter, Ctrl X to exit. Now we can go to our machine macOS Ventura right here and then go to console. We can click on start now to start the installation. Hit enter. Now we are right on the shell. Now type FSO : hit enter. It is supposed to be FS0, not FSO. FS0 : hit enter. Now type in the next line. This is to access our boot file and then hit enter. To enable full screen, click on the full screen button on Proxmox. Now first, we have to erase the disk and then install macOS. So let's go to disk utility, continue, and then click on view, show all devices. So you can see QEMU hard disk media, which contains the installation file, and you can also see Apple block media. This is our hard drive, and you can see the size 85.9 gigabytes. Now we have to erase by clicking on erase up here and then set the name to whatever you want. Set the format to APFS and then erase. Click on done. We can now close this. Install macOS 13 beta. Continue. Continue. Agree to the terms. Agree. Now select the hard drive right here and then continue, and it should begin the installation. This may take about an hour or a little above that, but you just have to wait. It will restart while the installation is running, so you just have to be standby to hit enter to select the bootloader and just continue the installation. So just wait patiently. hit enter to continue. And we are done with the installation. Now let's set up based on our personal preference. Now agree to the terms and continue. And you can see macOS Ventura has been successfully installed. Now we can head to about this Mac, and you can see this is iMac Pro running Ventura 13.0. Now one last thing we have to change though. macOS Ventura is not booting directly from the disk we installed macOS. It is rather booting from the installation media, which we should change. And to do that, we need Opencore Configurator, which we are going to download from the browser here. The link to this page is in the video description, so you can click on it to download Opencore Configurator after installing macOS Ventura. It is now downloading and it should finish in a few seconds. And we now have Opencore Configurator downloaded. Now let's close our browser and then open Finder, download. Let's drag Opencore Configurator to our desktop. Now let's run it. And you can see if you get this error, just click on OK. Go to your system settings and then go to privacy and security and then scroll down. You can see Opencore Configurator was blocked. Let's open anyway. This is because it is from an unidentified developer. Enter your password to confirm you're the one and then unlock. Open. Now let's close this. And then if you look up here, you can see an icon for Opencore Configurator. Click on it. And you should see the EFI on disk identifier first and the second EFI. So let's mount both partition. Mount. Enter your password. Mount the second one as well. Now let's open partition. Open the second as well. And we can see our EFI folder there, which if we open, we can see our boot and configuration file. Now we have to copy the entire EFI folder and then paste it in the EFI partition of our hard drive. And that is all basically. Now we are done, we can close this. You can delete Opencore Configurator if you want, because we are no longer using it. Now let's shut down. Now go to hardware. And then you can see hard disk containing Opencore bootloader, which we are going to detach. So click on it and then click on detach. We can also detach the ISO right here. And we are done. We can head back to console and then start now. Now we can log in with our password. And that's all basically. If this video was helpful, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your post notification. If you encountered any issue while running the installation, don't forget to use the comment section and we'll be glad to assist you. Thank you for watching and I will see you on the next one.